The silent Erevolf Perseus veil, a shimmering curtain of cosmic dust and energetic particles, flickered in the darkness between stars. Beyond it, a ship unlike any other slid soundlessly into the Sol system, hidden from crude human sensors by fields of warping light. The galactic visitors had arrived. Their vessel, the Shulvara, was alive in its own way, a hull that glistened as if woven from liquid moonlight, sleek and seamless, shaped by minds that had outgrown the concept of welding or assembly. Within, the ship's corridors thrummed with the soft glow of bioluminescent flora and undulating waves of ambient light. The beings inside were no less strange, 3 meters tall, slender as reeds, their skin radiating shifting colors in tune with their unspoken thoughts. For millennia, the galactic visitors had watched, rarely intervening, always observing. Their telepathic communion stretched across parsecs, binding fleets together in a living chorus of perception and memory. Humanity was the latest addition to their quiet surveillance, a species of unruly promise, brilliant and dangerous. Tonight, they came closer than ever before. Earth spun below, streaked with city lights, cloaked in storms, alive with the frenetic pulse of its dominant species. In the shadow of Jupiter, the Shulvara and its escort 5 smaller skiffs awaited the appointed hour. Their presence was a secret, but not for much longer. Malthrax, the visitor commander, stood at the ship's bow, gazing through layers of interstellar data. His thoughts, projected through the ship's neural core, touched his officer Zilith. Wise and patient, Sran, impetuous and curious, Myrax, ever skeptical. We are ready. Ilith pulsed across the Mindlink. They are less advanced than we hoped, but more dangerous than we feared, Sran added, a flicker of chartreuse in his aura. Their violence is habitual. Their learning is fevered. We should not provoke them, Myrax cautioned, waves of indigo shading her form. Malthrax considered their words. Telepathic silence fell, a moment of deep, shared thought. Before he answered, observe. Engage only if necessary. If they are ready for contact, we shall know. A warning chime rippled through the ship proximity sensors, detecting something immense on a vector from the inner planets. The data was impossible: gravitational mass, engine signatures, and armaments orders of magnitude beyond what Earth's intelligence agencies had projected. The main holopanel displayed an object emerging from behind the lunar shadow. It was vast, angular, and radiated a confidence that no human vessel should yet possess. Its call sign pinged on all bands, encoded with every language of Earth and several of the visitors' own. Humanity's dreadnought ascendant, we see you. Within the Shulvara, all sound, all thought, all subtle color changes stopped. The Galactic visitors fell mute. For the first time in Malthrax's 3 centuries, the Mindlink was devoid of commentary, of theory, of song. It was not out of fear. Fear was a thing they had unlearned, but awe, confusion, and something else. Possibility. On the bridge of the Ascendant, Captain Elias Draven stood in front of his crew, humanity's best and brightest. As the first images of the alien vessels bloomed on the display. Are those ships? That's no asteroid belt, whispered Lieutenant Chen, tactical officer. Elias didn't answer. He'd seen the data streaming in. The configuration was nothing like any Terran or Martian craft. He turned to his comms officer. Open a channel. All languages, visual, audio, and code. Channel open, Captain. He looked into the HoloLens. This is Captain Elias Draven of the United Terran Fleet. You are trespassing in Sol system space. State your intentions. Back aboard the Shulvara, the visitors digested the words. No threats, but no deference. The humans had not fired, but their ship's weapon arrays tracked each alien vessel with cold precision. Saran tried to project a greeting through the Mindlink, reaching for the alien minds. He found nothing but static, a black wall. Humans, for all their noise, were telepathically silent. It was as if a great void gaped in the collective consciousness. Impossible to cross. Ilith attempted a more traditional hail, sending out a burst of mathematics, a gesture of peace among the stars. The human reply was instant, a dazzling burst of encrypted signals, impossible to decipher in real time. Commander, Myrax said aloud, her voice a low ripple. They have learned quickly. That vessel, they built it for war. Malthrax's body flickered in shades of violet. We have misjudged them. They are not children playing with fire. They are the fire. As the ships hung silent in the shadow of Jupiter, each side watched the other. For the first time in living memory, the galactic visitors found themselves without words. Caught in a moment between destiny and disaster, the first meeting was neither war nor welcome. It was silence heavy, electric, and absolute. The visitors, famed for their wisdom and eloquence, had no response. The humans, for once, waited with patience. Across the void, the civilizations measured each other not with speeches, but with presence. And so, as the shadow of the ascendant stretched over the ancient alien vessels, the fate of both species hung in the pause, in the silence before history would move again. A warning unheeded silence that had fallen across the void was not peaceful. It was the tense, unblinking stare before the first move in a game whose rules had never been written. On the bridge of the dreadnought ascendant, every breath was measured, every eye locked on the glowing glyphs and shifting ships hovering on the main screen. Captain Elias Draven's command style was calm, but deliberate, one born of long nights on Europa's icy stations and the hard-won trust of his crew. Now, facing the most momentous first contact in human history, he felt the weight of all their fates pressing upon him. The Ascendant's calms array shimmered as signals volleyed back and forth across the electromagnetic spectrum. Some were mathematical, some artistic, others pure bursts of information, data-dense and purposefully opaque. The alien ships, however, responded with only occasional bursts, half cryptic, half inviting. Lieutenant Chen scanned the inputs with shaking hands. "Sir, we're receiving a continuous wave of, well, I can't call it language. It's more like emotion. Frequencies in the low gigahertz, fluctuating patterns. They're trying to talk to us, but not in words." Draven's eyes narrowed. "Filter out anything that looks like a psychological intrusion, but keep the logs running. They may not know how to communicate except through their own protocols." Elsewhere on the bridge, Commander Natalie Reza, his first officer, leaned toward him. "Elias, are we really going to wait for them to make the first move? We're inside their strike range now, and their energy readings keep climbing." Draven glanced at the tactical plot. "We will not be the aggressors, Commander, not unless they force our hand." In the darkness of space, the Shulvara and its skiffs maintained a loose formation. Inside, Malthrax convened his officers in the command gallery, a luminous chamber, walls alive with flowing color and drifting projections. The telepathic link pulsed again, uncertainty mixing with long experience. "They are not attacking. They..." "Wait, what do they want?" Saran asked, his form flickering with agitation. "They want to be seen. They want to be heard," Illith responded. "Their technology is patchwork, brutal, but effective. They have learned from war." Myrax's thoughts were darker. "If we do not show strength, they may perceive us as weak. We are in their system, uninvited. Should we not retreat, offer deference?" Malthrax's own aura deepened to midnight blue, a signal of contemplation. He weighed the protocols that had served the visitors for centuries. Approach, observe, reveal, offer, exchange. But never before had their presence been so forcefully challenged. In their experience, primitive species reacted with awe or panic. None had dared greet them with a battleship. The Mindlink opened again, a direct and deliberate channel. As Malthrax sent a signal encoded with the universal mathematical constants, the ancient gesture of greeting among the stars. At the same time, he instructed the ship's biocomputers to modulate their emission patterns, hoping to match the human strange, uncooperative wavelengths. Back on the Ascendant, the bridge speakers pulsed with a harmonic drone. Chen tapped frantically at the translation panel, feeding in known equations, prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, Poincare conjectures, anything that might serve as a Rosetta Stone. Suddenly, a breakthrough. The drones sharpened into a series of distinct pulses. The AI parsed a fragment: peace, seek knowledge, nitrogen monoxide, harm. A slow smile spread across Draven's lips. "There it is. They're reaching out. Tell me what else you can find, Lieutenant." Minutes passed. Then the translation algorithms began to yield more. "Wonder, surprise. You have grown." "Why worship?" Draven considered his response carefully. He walked to the comm panel, and when he spoke, he chose his words as much for the crew as for the aliens. "This is Captain Elias Draven. We greet you, but we stand ready to defend ourselves. The past century has shown humanity the price of unpreparedness. We have learned to survive. We wish for peace, but we do not submit." He paused, then added, "Why have you come to our world unannounced?" The message was transmitted, and for long moments, nothing came back. Then the view screen lit with an image, a tall, iridescent being with haunting eyes, mouth racks, rendered in soft holographic blue. "Humans, we observe, for the galaxy is ever-changing. You are a bright anomaly. Conflict surrounds you, yet you persist. Our purpose, to understand, to offer guidance if you desire it. We did not anticipate this." Draven stepped forward, trying to keep his own awe in check. "Humanity has been shaped by hardship. We're grateful for your visit, but we must know, what guidance do you offer? And what do you expect in return?" A ripple passed through the alien's form, a gesture of respect, or perhaps uncertainty. "We expect nothing, but when the galaxy's attention turns to your world, it does not always bring benevolence. There are others ancient and merciless who see new lights as threats. Beware lest your light draw predators." Commander Reza frowned. "Sir, what if this is a threat? What if they're warning us to stand down?" Before Draven could answer, another voice, young, determined, spoke from the science console. "Or it's a test. They're seeing how we react." Aboard the Shulvara, the mood had shifted. Saran's curiosity mingled with caution. "They have met us with a weapon, not an embassy. This is not a greeting, it is a challenge," Myrax added. "We must show restraint, but also strength. Let them see that we could shatter them, but choose not to." Malthrax hesitated, then reached out again over the comms, the translation more refined this time. "We come not as conquerors, but as witnesses. Your warship is a beacon others will see. Be wise in what you reveal. The galaxy is not gentle." Draven nodded, understanding the double meaning. "We know, but we are not afraid. The age of Earth's isolation is over. If you offer friendship, we will answer in kind. If you threaten us, we will not yield." The visitor's image flickered, as if in silent contemplation. The Mindlink among them was alive with nuanced admiration, caution, calculation. "Their courage is admirable, but their confidence may doom them or save them," Illith whispered. "History will record this day." For a moment, possibility hung between the species and open door, or the first crack in a coming storm. But far out on the edge of the system, sensors pinged as new, unknown signatures appeared, watching, listening, waiting for the outcome. Neither side knew it yet, but the universe had already begun to shift. As the hours ticked by, and coded warnings echoed through the blackness, humanity and the galactic visitors realized they were not alone. The warning had been given, but neither side knew if it would be heeded. Aboard the Ascendant, Draven's jaw tightened as he watched the alien ships, silent and beautiful, glimmering against the stars. Whatever came next, humanity would meet it on their own terms, and out in the darkness, the galaxy listened and waited. The Battle of Silent Star's shadowed belt between Mars and Jupiter had never known war. It was a graveyard of forgotten probes, lost cargo, and silent asteroids spinning endlessly in cold dark. Now, as the hour of tension became the hour of action, the ancient stones would witness something wholly new, the crackling, luminous agony of two empires testing the limits of power and principle. On the bridge of the dreadnought Ascendanthi, mood was brittle, coiled, like the surface of glass before a hammer. Captain Draven watched the sensor data flicker across the holo displays. The visitors' fleet had altered formation. Their skiffs fanned out, encircling the human ship in a pattern at once beautiful and menacing, their hulls humming with power, energy signatures rising on all alien vessels. Reported Lieutenant Chen, voice taut. "I think they're charging weapons, sir." Draven nodded, jaw set. "Tactical, raise shields, gunnery, power up plasma turrets, show them we're not blind, but do not fire unless fired upon." Outside, the Ascendant's hull shimmered with a blue-white haze as its energy shields snapped into place. Turrets pivoted, targeting arrays locking onto the strange, shifting outlines of the visitor ships. Aboard the Shulvara, Malthrax's officers were equally tense. Their telepathic link was a river of argument and anxiety. They have matched. Our posture, Illith observed, but their vessel's intelligence is adapting, learning. Their weapons are cruder, but their resolve is dangerous, Sran responded. A wave of gold running down his body. We could destroy them, Myrax thought, sharp and blue as a blade. Should we not act first, before they make the same decision? Malthrax's reply was a storm of color and feeling. No, the lesson of the galaxy is patience. But show them we are not prey. Ready the defense arrays, but not all among the visitors. Agreed. A lone skiff, its pilot young and eager, broke formation. Its bioluminescent hull flared as it darted toward the ascendant, engines spiking in the void. On the human bridge, alarms blared. Incoming fast mover, visitor skiff on attack. Vector. Draven's heart hammered. He had seconds to act. All hands, brace for contact. Defensive pattern Delta. Helm, roll us, let's not give them a stationary target. The ascendant spun with impossible grace for a ship of its size, its engines. Roaring, blue jets painting wild arcs in the darkness. The skiff fired first, a stream of shimmering. Green energy lanced out, striking the human shields in a spray of light. The ascendant rock shields held, but barely. Shields at 78% minimal hull damage, Chen shouted. Return fire disable only, Draven commanded. The ascendants for cannon glowed. Then spat a pulse of quantum plasma blue comet. Streaking toward the skiff, it struck with a blinding flash, and the alien vessel tumbled. Engines flickering, systems dark. The skiff was crippled, not destroyed. Across the Mindlink, chaos. Fools, we said hold. Malthrax's rage swept through the ranks. They are not as fragile as we believed, Sran murmured, awe in his mental tone. Malthrax fought for composure, then opened wide-spectrum comms, voice echoing across all frequencies. Cease, cease, this is not our path, humanity. Your strength is seen. Stand down, let us do the same. Draven, breathless, replied, no more attacks. We will not shoot unless you force our hand. The next shot will be lethal. There, in the lull, each side absorbed what had just happened. For both, the first blow was a revelation. Ripples in the void, but the fight had been seen. Out on the system's edge, faint, predatory signals flickered strange. Angular ships watching from beyond the orbit of Neptune. They had sensed the energy bloom, the violence, the promise of new prey or new allies. Inside the Shulvara, the Mindlink began to unravel. The skiff pilot young Valix was still alive, but stunned. Their error was grave, yet it was also illuminating. The human vessel had not killed them, even when given the chance. They could have destroyed us, Illith realized. They chose mercy. Myrax was more cautious. Mercy can be a mask for calculation. Do not be deceived. Malthrax's thoughts, for the first time in centuries, were uncertain. He turned to the humans through the comm. Your restraint honors you. So to your power. There are others in the dark, drawn by conflict. This system is no longer isolated. Humanity's resolve aboard the Ascendant. The bridge settled into a new, wearier rhythm. Draven spoke quietly to his crew. This is what it means to represent Earth. We stand strong, but we don't rush to kill. Remember that. Today, we proved our mettle and our mercy. Science Officer Marai said softly, Sir, multiple new contacts are appearing beyond the Kuiper Belt. Unidentified. Their signals are nothing like the visitors. Draven nodded grimly. It begins. The galaxy's eyes are on us now. In the aftermath, visitor fleet slowly regrouped, their own discipline restored by the crisis. Malthrax reached out one last time. Let this be a lesson. Captain Draven, strength is respected, but wisdom is remembered. We do not wish to be your enemy. Draven stared at the visitor's image, aware that history was unfolding not in words, but in decisions made in seconds. Nor do we wish to be yours. But if we must fight, we will. Let's find another path. There. Amid the debris and the echoes of the first, hesitant clash, a kind of understanding grew. Not trust, not yet, but recognition, the seed from which peace or enmity might one. Day blossomed outside. The stars blazed indifferently, as they had for eons. Yet now, In this stretch of cold and shadow, something had changed forever. The battle of silent stars was over, but the war for the future was just beginning. The voice of humanitide battlefield was strangely serene in the aftermath, littered with drifting debris, frozen particles, and the soft blue glows of shield auras. The dreadnought Ascendant stood as the new axis of the system, ringed by cautious visitor ships and watched unseen, but certainly from the farther reaches of the solar expanse. Humanity's first true battle among the stars had not ended in devastation. Instead, in the chill silence, the future was up for negotiation. On the bridge, decisions in the silence. Captain Draven paced the bridge, flanked by his officers. The tactical display showed no new hostilities. Visitor skiffs nursed their wounded ship back into formation. In the quiet, every voice felt magnified. Lieutenant Chen, voice still raw from adrenaline, asked, "What now, sir?" "We just made ourselves known to the whole galaxy." Commander Reza, reading the same screens, added, "We have new contacts near Neptune Watchers, probably drawn by the conflict. Not visitors, not human, not anything from our archives." Draven nodded. "We show them who we are, not just what we can do, but who we choose to be." He turned to the comms officer. "Hail the visitors. Request an open channel visual, audio, and data. Everyone, be ready. The eyes of the galaxy are on us now. Contact and caution aboard the Shulvara." Malthrax conferred with his council. The telepathic link shimmered with fatigue, but also a sense of revelation. Their report would resound through the visitor hierarchy for centuries. "They have met us not with subservience, nor with reckless violence. They meet us as equals." Illith mused, her aura a soft violet. "And they are not alone," Myrax warned, pointing to the swelling energy signatures at the system's rim. "Our presence has awakened interest, perhaps hunger, in others. Yet they spared us, even after provocation. This is not the story we expected to write," Sran added. Malthrax reached consensus. "Open the channel. Speak as one." Their projection appeared before Draven on the Ascendant's bridge of blue, spectral image, clear and tall. Draven took a step forward, the eyes of his crew, and by extension all of Earth, upon him. Malthrax's voice resonated, deep and haunting. "Captain Draven, in the measure of power and patience, your species has surprised us. We had intended to offer guidance, perhaps warnings, to a young civilization. We see now you are more capable, resilient, and unwilling to be subjects." Draven replied with quiet authority. "We are new to these depths, but we do not enter them as children. We do not seek dominion over others, but neither will we bow to fear." Malthrax tilted his head. "The galaxy is unkind. There are ancient powers, watchful and cruel. By showing your hand, you invite their attention." Draven smiled, not arrogantly, but with a grim acceptance. "Perhaps, but secrecy is a cage. We would rather meet what comes as ourselves, not as shadows. We welcome friends. We are ready for enemies." The visitor council exchanged glances. Then Malthrax spoke not as a superior, but as a peer. "Let us begin, then, as equals. Share knowledge, negotiate boundaries, learn from one another." Draven nodded, "On one condition, that the conversation be honest, and the choice is free." So began the first dialogue, long, awkward, sometimes fractious, sometimes wondrous, between the United Terran fleet and the galactic visitors. Ripples through the galaxy as the two powers spoke. The observers beyond Neptune closed in. Automated probes, spindly and insectal, skittered into the system, their transmissions riddles of machine logic. Farther out, hunter ships, sleek, black, without insignia, lingered in stealth, feeding data to their silent masters. The balance had shifted. The Sol system, once a cosmic backwater, had become the latest arena in the unending contest of empires. The dreadnought Ascendant became a legend overnight. Its very existence forced alien strategists to recalculate, forced diplomats to redraw lines, forced predators to pause and reconsider the cost of prey. On Earth, news of the encounter spread like fire. Cities held their breath. The ancient terror of alien invasion was, for the first time, lessened by the knowledge that, for now, humanity could look outward not with submission, but with parity. In the conference chambers, negotiations began. In orbit above Jupiter, the Ascendant, and the Shulvara docked in parallel. A narrow bridge stretched between them, half metal, half bioluminescent resin, a literal and symbolic joining of two worlds. The meetings were fraught with culture shock. Visitors communicated in scents, colors, and harmonic pulses, all filtered into rough translation for human senses. Humans responded with gesture, word, and written contract. Sometimes things broke down. The visitors recoiled from the concept of ownership as humans understood it, while humans bristled at the visitors' tradition of guidance that seemed, to some, like paternalistic control. Yet slowly, trust was hammered out on the anvil of necessity. Captain Draven and Malthrax found a wary respect for each other, each the product of a civilization forged by adversity. Over late-night councils, Draven shared stories of Earth's battered but unbroken past. Malthrax spoke of cosmic wonders and dangers, from worlds consumed by self-inflicted ruin to star-spanning alliances that had collapsed in silence. That it was not always easy, but it was always real. The voice of humanity in the weeks that followed. A joint declaration was drafted, a statement not only to each other, but to the galaxy itself. Its broadcast echoed across 1,000 systems. We, the peoples of Sol, in alliance with the honored galactic visitors, declare our intent to stand as peers among the stars. We seek friendship, not domination, knowledge, not conquest. Let all who listen know that Earth is open for dialogue, but never for servitude. Here, the voice of a new world is raised, proud, cautious, and free. The words were translated into every visitor dialect, broadcast in energy pulses, encoded in the quantum lattice of the Ascendant's hull, and sung into the electromagnetic night. The declaration was both shield and invitation, an offer of partnership and a warning that Earth would not be easy to subdue. A new dawn bay in the outer planets. The Watchers weighed their options. Some withdrew, seeking easier prey. Others marked Sol as a new rival. A few sent envoys, curious or hopeful. For the first time in millennia, the galactic powers had to contend with a voice that was neither ancient nor naive, but newly bold. Back on the Ascendant, Captain Draven stood at the observation deck, watching the curve of Earth rising through the porthole, blue and white and beautiful. Commander Reza joined him, her eyes tired but alive with the spark of what they'd survived. "We did it, sir," she said quietly. He nodded. "For now, but the real work begins here." She smiled. "Would you have done anything differently?" Draven thought of the moment when he could have ordered annihilation, and of the restraint that had carried them instead into history. He shook his head. "No, if we are to be heard, we must first choose how we speak." From the distant reaches of the system, Malthrax watched Earth as well. Through the Mindlink, he sent a message to his people. "In the humans, we have found neither monsters nor saviors, but fellow travelers, each seeking to carve meaning from the stars. Our era of silent observation is ended. Let us see what the next age brings." Epilogue. Echoes in the silence. So the war that had nearly begun ended in uneasy peace. But it was a peace built on understanding, not surrender. The galaxy would remember the day when the visitors fell mute before the arrival of a human battleship, and when, out of silence, the voice of humanity rose, clear and unyielding, into the depths of space. And beyond, in the velvet dark, the future waited, and written, and bright with possibility.